Ken Wargaden, thanks so very much, and welcome everybody live from the Sam McKee Memorial Broadcast Set. I'm Dave Little, and this is In the Sulky. I'm joined tonight by, well, not a guy who's a $100 million man. He's not a $200 million man. He's the $300 million man, Ron Burke. Thanks so much for joining us tonight.
Thanks, Dave.
Recently you became the first person to amass $300 million in career earnings in the sport of harness racing. That includes drivers. Does the number $300 million have any significance to you?
Yeah, no, it's very important to me, to be the first one there. Like, when I realized that nobody had done it, it was a goal, and I wanted to do it, and we pushed hard for it, and I was excited when we went by it.
Now, it's a pretty good bet when this year ends. You'll have been both the leading dash-winning and money-earning trainer for a 15th consecutive year. Do you ever take a step back and say, I thought we'd win some races, but this level of success isn't something I expected?
I wouldn't say we didn't expect it. I expect a lot from myself. I do. I expect a lot of our group. Once we did it and once we built the barn we had, it was different than any barn that had ever come before us, and, maybe it will ever be after us. We changed the way that we looked at racing. We were going to race 5 claimers till Breeders' Crown horses, and maybe we don't race 5 claimers anymore, but I race 10 claimers.
Your dad was a pretty good trainer in his own right. He has a Trainer of the Year trophy to his credit. What level of influence did Mickey Burke have on your career?
My dad was a better horseman even than trainer. People don't realize my dad rode Grand National jumpers. He cleared 610 on the fence. So I think that's what we got more from my father than anything was horsemanship. He was a great trainer, but he's even a better horseman and a way better person.
Now, obviously your dad had a big influence, but you need a lot of people to keep up with all of the horses in your barn. And there's a guy that we know of here at the track as Murph. Tell us about him. Yeah,
it's Shannon Murphy. He's been our second trainer here in New Jersey for at least the last 10 years. Without him, it would be completely different. He holds the fort down here. I'm not here all the time, obviously. I'm at all the other tracks. I talk to him daily. He makes decisions on his own. And, basically, in the end, I am responsible for everything, but I can't oversee every barn every day. And so Murph has a big input, and, he's very steadying. He's good with the employees. He's good with the horses. He does a great job.
From a cumulative perspective, no one can match you in terms of numbers in harness racing. Let's take a look at Ronnie's robust resume. Now, a 3-time Trainer of the Year, trained the richest horse in history. We'll get to him in a second. 2022 Hall of Fame inductee. I was there that night. How much of a special night was that for you?
You know what? It really meant way more to me than I thought it would. I always kind of thought I should have been there, and then when I got into it, I was like, whatever. But when we went there and you see it and you feel it and you talk about it, it was very special to me, and it was very special to me because my father was still alive, who I believe should be in the Hall of Fame also. I mean, I think he's done enough on his own. If nothing else, he's a Hall of Fame father, for putting together the barn that he did and the family he did.
Now, we're going to talk a little bit about Foiled Again. When a racehorse wins $1 million, he's had a heck of a career. This horse won over $7.5 million. In fact, $7.6 million. And in the 2013 TVG Open Pace, Foiled Again brought it as usual. Talk about this stretch run.
This was when the knock was he couldn't win at the Meadowlands. So for us, this was one of his biggest wins ever. If he could get alongside you and lean on you, I don't care what horse it was, he would beat you. He went through 4 horses that this was his rival. That was his rival. He put a lot of horses in retirement before that he was done. So, a special horse changed our lives, changed the way of our barn. So I'll never forget him. He's still at home hanging out. He goes to Florida with my dad in the winter, and he goes to home with my dad in the summer.
What was the one characteristic about Foiled Again that made him so great?
Refused to lose. Never saw a horse that if he could get to your neck, forget it. He was going to figure a way to finish you off.
All right, now let's get to the current horse. In fact, 2 current horses. Let's talk first about It's Academic, who's qualifying tomorrow morning. He has his sights set on the Cutler, I suspect.
Actually, he's not qualifying tomorrow because we got in at Chester on Sunday.
Okay.
So he's going to race on Sunday at Chester. He's been great. Gets better. It's funny. We owned him as a 2- and 3-year-old. We sold him. Brad Grant bought him, gave him back to me to train, and even we never saw how good he really is good. And every year gets better. Come back this year better than ever. Like, I think he has a real shot to be the best age trotter this year.
All right, let's talk a little bit about the honor roll. Some of Burke Brigade's top horses in your career. 2011, foiled again, Pacer of the Year. Sweet Lou, the Pacer of the Year in 2014. And, of course, the great trotting mare, Hannelore Hanover, the 2017 Horse of the Year. Let's take a look at Hannelore Hanover winning the 2017 TVG, this locked up Horse of the Year honors.
Yeah, no, she had a great year that year. Just, a horse that didn't do great at 2 by no means, got better at 3, and then just put it all together at 4. Beautiful horse, beautiful gait, hopefully going to be a beautiful mother.
Now, we're talking a lot about cumulative stuff in your career. How many horses are under your care right now?
Probably like right at 300 right now. We're probably back up around 300 with brood mares and studs, and we're probably over 400.
Now, you oversee then, it sounds to me, I talked to someone in your camp, you're overseeing 5 or 6 separate operations. How do you do it? I mean, do you stop off at every one once a week, once a month? What do you do?
I stop as much as I can. I get to see them as much as I can. I talk to them every day. You basically have no other life. This is all you do, which I'm not complaining. I love the horses. I love the game. I love racing. So, but everybody that, deals with me realizes that, the horses come first. That's my number one goal every day, is to make sure that we do the best we can with every horse.
You've been aligned with Yannick Gingras as your go-to driver now for, it's got to be at least a decade, if not more. What made you pick Yannick as your go-to guy?
Guys kept telling me no till finally Yannick said yes. Brian was my driver, then David was my driver, then finally Yannick took the job and kept it, and he earned it. He earned it, and he's done a great job for us. He stays with the horses. Do we always agree on everything? No, but for the most time we do see everything almost too much the same. Once in a while we both could be a little less aggressive, but me and his personalities fit.
Now I got a question from the crowd. A fellow by the name of Mark W., I'm not sure who this is, he said that you recently said that you could run a pretty fast 40-yard dash. How fast do you think you can go?
Mark says I couldn't run it under 6. Listen, I'm not in the shape I used to be, or I can run it under 6. Then Mark said I couldn't beat him. I could beat him running backwards downhill.
Of course, we're talking about Mark Weaver, who's such a big part of your whole operation. You've been business partners for about 20 years now, and he told me that you're now getting into the 2-year-olds. You got 75 down south and another dozen up here. Is that something kind of that you wanted to conquer since you've conquered just about everything else?
Every year we breed more, so now every year we have more. I'd like to maybe try to back off a little bit, but the problem is we've got 23 homebreds this year. We're going to buy 50 more, so it's part of the game. I love the babies. I love going down there. My dad still runs that. He's 87 years old. He's on the track every day with us. We love that part of it. So, I love it, but I'll never give up the racehorses just because nothing is more fun than getting a racehorse and racing the next week.
Ron Burke, $300 million. How high can you push that bankroll before you're done?
I know we'll get to 400, as long as we stay healthy and the game stays good. 500, that's a long way. That's 10 more years of this. I don't know if I have 10 more years of this level, of this many horses. But then again, I look at my dad. He's 87. He's still kicking it. 10 years, I'll be 63. That's still 24 years younger than that. So, we'll take it year at a time and enjoy it and, have fun and, hopefully people keep supporting us.
Ron Burke, the $300 million man. Congratulations on all of your success, and thanks so much for spending a couple of minutes with us tonight in the Sulky.
Thank you.
Coming up after this, Gabe Pruitt will jump in Ron's chair. He's got work to do. Pruitt will come on deck, and we'll talk about tonight's featured action right after this.